Sports. Garrett Ross's first go at commenting on the full top five.
Yep.
So Jack, how many of these movies have you seen? Just one. Okay, and Garrett, how many of these have you seen? You know what
I've seen two.
You've seen two.
I've seen two.
You've seen two. Okay. Well, I mean, nobody sees. I mean, there are people, but not many people see more movies than me. What was that shot of? Just the ceiling? How did that happen? That's what our ceiling looks like, folks. The paramount of technology here. Number 5 in top 5 underrated sports movies. The Replacements. Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman, Jon Favreau's in this movie, who is now become a huge, Marvel and Star Wars director. But let's see who else is. Orlando Jones. A lot of good people in this movie. And it's here's the thing I think is funny about The Replacements. It's about a professional team in Washington called the Sentinels, which is not too far off the name of the Commanders.
No.
Which I thought they might as well just take that when they did it. But it's a pretty fun movie. It's not The Longest Yard. It's not, Remember the Titans or The Blind Side. But as a football movie goes, it's really super fun. If you have not seen this one, I highly, highly recommend it. Funny movie, good movie. Keanu's really good in it. Of course, Keanu's good in most of the stuff he does. He gives full effort.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you don't like Shane Falco, what are you doing with your life, right?
Exactly.
You got to like Shane Falco.
Yeah, you got to like Shane Falco. Yeah. And Shane Falco's based on a real guy named Shane Falco. So
that I did not know.
Yeah,
really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, he is. All right, number 4, a Patton Oswalt vehicle. Patton Oswalt was a fantastic stand-up comedian called Big Fan. This movie is, it's really kind of twisted a little bit in that it's about a guy who's a huge Giants fan, and he and his buddy follow their best player into like a nightclub and are hanging out with him, and then the dude beats the crap out of him. But he won't press charges because he doesn't want the guy to get suspended. And then it, his psyche kind of devolves to where he goes and he gets obsessed with this fan, this Philadelphia Eagles fan that calls the talk show he's on he's a sports radio caller too, which is why for me this movie was really, really interesting. But I recommend that it's really. It starts and ends the same exact way, which is kind of cool too. There's some synergy in it, but it's a movie not a whole lot of people have seen, but I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's really good.
I went and looked at the previews because I'd never heard of this, honestly, but
Yeah.
I'm familiar with him. I know of his work. It is very intriguing because it seems like something that would be a true story. Like you could really, fans are like, there's some people out there that are just crazy as hell that would actually do some of the things he did. And that really piqued my interest.
Yeah, it is. It's a good one. It's very interesting. It's, I wouldn't say it's like creepy. It's not like a horror movie or anything, but it's very real, about what obsession and loneliness and all these things it can do, because he's a dorky little sports fan, and that's he's kind of in his parents' basement, doing these things, and so it's really it's really good. It's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. Number 3, the third rated one of the Kevin Costner baseball movies. It's not Field of Dreams. It's not Bull Durham, which I think is one of the best sports movies of all time. But For Love of the Game, excellent baseball movie.
This is ironically the one Kevin Costner baseball movie I haven't seen.
You haven't seen it? Okay, well, he's pitching in this. He's pitching a perfect game. And he's an all-time great pitcher who's in his last year, and there's, it kind of flashes back. I think the only knock in this movie is that it moves kind of slow.
Okay.
Through a 27 outs of a game, more or less, and kind of flashing back in the game to his life and where he is, and
So is this like a farewell thing, like looking back on his career and his life?
It's no. This is his last start. This legendary pitcher, and he happens to be pitching a perfect game, and that's kind of going all through it, like ending on this unbelievable moment. But where he is in his life, his relationships with his girlfriend and all how it kind of came to be. And there's this the late Kelly Preston plays his girlfriend in the movie. And there's this, that's the kind of part where it gets kind of slow, but it's still a really good movie as far as tracking it along and
But that's a cool aspect too, because you're given an inside look. Like you think about golf, right? Like players, you're in a big putt, but you're in your own head. So that's a cool concept.
It's not the story's not told linear, because he's like, he'll take you to the game, then he'll think about something. Yeah, so it's good. Number 2, Invictus. This is the one you've seen, right, Jack? Yeah, Invictus is one of the few rugby movies out there, and is about Nelson Mandela and this South African rugby team and the Rugby World Cup and all that, and how much the country of South Africa and all that kind of overlapped all at once. It's just a really, really good movie. Morgan Freeman plays Nelson Mandela. It's a really cool movie. And again, even if you don't know that much about rugby, you'll enjoy the movie. So
I'm a big look. The world needs more Nelson Mandelas.
Exactly. No,
so yes, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Maybe by watching Invictus, somebody will be like, I'll be like Nelson Mandela. I hope so. Yeah. And number 1, 61. This is a movie about the Yankees, so I'm telling you, it's really good. Directed by Billy Crystal. It's about the 1961 home run chase with Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris. The asterisk that they put on Roger Maris because he played more games, and people in New York did not want even a Yankee breaking Babe Ruth's record. There was all this stress that what was going on with Mickey Mantle. It is the story pretty much as it happened, and there's no it's not like sometimes you see a movie about this and this whole Valentine to the whole situation, and it's definitely not that. It's a really, really good. Have you seen this one? This one
I have. It's been a long time, but it is a really good movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. Thomas Jane plays Mickey Mantle. Barry Pepper plays Roger Maris, and the stuff that these two guys went through in 1961, which what should be fun for them in a normal baseball season, was pretty much anything but. And it was hard. It was arduous breaking this record. Roger Maris almost didn't want it the way it was going. So it's interesting to see a movie from that perspective of a guy who's about to do something that only one other person has done, and then has to deal with the repercussions of it because people in the 60s were somehow offended that somebody could break a record that Babe Ruth had.
I'm surprised that still isn't the case today. It's the way baseball works, the way they hang on to history and everything in the past, that seems like something that would still bug people to this day.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. The problem is that records break so fast now in a lot of sports that, there's not really any in football you can think of that you would hold on to. Baseball, it's going to be hard to break a lot of the records that are out there. And then, of course, with home runs, it became a whole separate issue. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Taylor McCarg. Thanks to Ari Temp.